Very good afternoon and welcome to the Lite Bite Lunch. I'm Rory Devon. I'm absolutely delighted today to be joined for our first show back after the summer break by Melissa Fallon from Lean Candles. So Melissa's going to have loads and loads to tell us. So for the next half hour, grab a cup of coffee, sit back, relax and enjoy a Lite Bite Lunch. Yes, indeed, it is the Lite Bite Lunch coming to you live from our studios here in Ballinamore in the lovely Leitrim. Joining us today from the Wild West, I'm delighted to have Melissa Fallon from Lean Candles. Melissa, delighted you could join us, and I'm sure you're going to have lots to tell us. But maybe if we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself, your own background, and what you do.
Hi, Rory. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm delighted to be a part of the podcast and your first guest after the summer break. So my name is Melissa. I'm the owner of Lean Candles. I'm based in Westport in County Mayo, and I basically started my business. I suppose, on the back foot of leaving the sector of pharmaceutical and marketing. And I really wanted to create products that fit into my own lifestyle as an asthmatic and also as a pet owner that were natural to use and were safe to use around animals and were safe to use well around people that had respiratory conditions. So I started Lang Candles and it's just thrived since then.
Absolutely brilliant. So it's as much a passion as it is a business, which I personally think is so much more important. How difficult was it making the change from a secure job in pharma to making that leap and saying, do you know what, I'm going out and I'm going to do this for me?
Yeah, I suppose it was really a big a brave leap to make, but I think for a lot of people that are self-employed, you always have that entrepreneurial streak in you. And you kind of know that you can't really settle in a 9 to 5. It doesn't maybe tick all the boxes for you. And eventually you have to kind of make that decision that do you want to give it a try and see how it goes, or always wonder what would have happened. So I suppose when I came to that crossroads, I said to myself that, you know what, I'm just going to go and try it. I had done one of the start your own business course with Mayo Leo in the meantime and had kind of built up a few of my skills. And I also have a master's in marketing and digital media. So I knew I had a few skills and education there to kind of back me up as well, I suppose.
Yeah, no, it's just like I mean, for so many people, um, it's so hard and so scary when
Yes.
to make that leap. And I always admire people who have that drive and who are able to say, do you know what? I want to do this for me. And in your case, it was as much, you weren't just doing it to pass the time. You were doing it because it was for your health, it was for your care in relation to your pets, the whole lot. That was all so important to you.
Yes, absolutely. My mother had died of cancer 10 years ago, so the business is actually named after her. So Lan is Irish for Helen, which means ray of light. And, I suppose after mum passed away, we started looking into all the more natural ingredients for products and things like that. And candles was a big one that came up. There's a lot of studies that show that lighting paraffin candles in homes has as much damage as smoking cigarettes. And something that you wouldn't automatically assume. I think with that,
Yeah.
often we buy them for people as gifts if they're not well or things like that, and it actually can be very detrimental to your health. And as well as being an asthmatic myself, I have to be very careful about what fragrances, perfumes, etc. So I wanted candles that were made from soya wax and had just essential oils in them. So everything is handmade by myself in Westport, and they're safe then to use, with asthmatics, with children, with elderly people, with the pets in the house. And that was a really, really big factor for me for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're just going to very quickly make mention about the finals for the Micro Business Awards. Of course, it is awards season for the micro businesses all over Ireland, and while we're all worried to see what the budget will bring, and straight after that, we'll all be celebrating the fabulous micro businesses up and down the country who entered this year's Micro Business Awards when we have our finals on the 18th of October in the beautiful surroundings of the Collection Hotel in Portlaoise. There's going to be a fabulous party atmosphere. There's going to be lots of networking, lots of good food, nice door raffle, the whole lot. There are still a very small number of tickets available, so if anyone would like to attend the finals, you just drop an email to microbusinessawards@gmail.com with the subject tickets. Let us know how many tickets you'd like. An invoice goes back out to you. The tickets are €100 each. And then there's a payment link that you just click the payment link and you can make your payment for your tickets through there. And you'll be all good to go. And we'll see you then on the 18th of October in the Collection, where we will be celebrating all the amazing businesses around Ireland and awarding very special trophies to our fabulous winners as well. And of course, you are actually a finalist this year in the Micro Business Awards as well, which is one of the reasons we wanted to bring you on, was to talk about, as a small business, this is your first year entering the awards, and we basically want to find out, to you as a small business, what does the recognition the Micro Business Awards mean to you?
It means so much, as you said, I'm not very long in business, so to get that recognition so early on is it's absolutely incredible. And it really, I felt so much pride in myself as well, that that my business had reached obviously the standard to be a finalist, as there was so many entries, and other fantastic businesses as well. So I'm really looking forward to it as well, and meeting other people as well, and seeing all the different businesses. And a few of my friends are finalists as well. So we're just really proud of ourselves, especially coming from such a small business in the west of Ireland, that someone actually saw us and thought, this is something here, and to put me in as a finalist, I'm thrilled. Absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, and again, I mean, the whole thing about it is, with so many of these awards that we see, they're all much larger companies, and they're coming from big city surroundings, and they have massive teams there. So they have their dedicated marketing team, and they have this other set that are there purely to push the name out there, not just in marketing, but in other ways. And then you compare that to a micro business, which can be one person fighting on their own just to manage to keep the doors open and to keep a roof over their head. And it's something that, as the founder of the awards myself, I mean, when I founded them 10 years ago, I never imagined they would turn into what they are now. And I'm looking forward to taking a step back after this year. 10 years at the helm of these has been a long, long run, but it's been a thoroughly enjoyable one, and I've made some great friends and met some fabulous businesses along the way. But I think that is the whole thing, and that is the whole ethos of the micro business, is recognizing the struggles that go on behind the scenes for a small business.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we always say that, like, you're a one-man band, you're the one taking the orders, you're the one maybe making, manufacturing the products, you're purchasing all the raw materials, you're doing the marketing, you're doing the books, you're the person behind everything. You're wearing many different hats and fulfilling many different roles. And that's very hard. And I find as well, sometimes for a micro business like me, where it is just me, it can be very isolating as well, because
Yes.
you're working on your own an awful lot of the time, and if you mightn't have somebody else to talk to about business. You know, you mightn't have that kind of outlet where you know somebody else in business who you could run an idea by or whatever. So the whole I think concept of the awards is not just obviously the recognition, but it's also the networking side of it as well, and to meet people in business and to talk to people, and you don't feel so isolated then. And especially as we are in the west of Ireland, you know, it is difficult. There aren't many events for us down here. There aren't many events for that one person that's in business that's making maybe a unique product. And it's fantastic to have that outlet at the awards as well. So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, I know, for example, at last year's awards, there was three different finalists who actually met up, and the three of them have gone on and have created a network of interchanging products and whatnot,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
And all three believe that by meeting these people who are in very similar industries,
Yeah.
not directly competing, right, but are in very similar industries, they've actually managed to come together and create that key network that actually helps things. Now we actually
Yeah.
have a message in there from Maggie, right?
That's
Yeah,
for Maggie.
right.
That's
Maggie is
Mayo.
yeah. Well, Maggie is Mayo Calligraphy,
Oh yes.
and Maggie is actually who also does the search for the awards.
Fabulous.
Maggie has been doing the search for us now since 2018, and actually in 2018 I gave her a huge headache because the People's Choice voting only finished the night before the awards,
Oh my
and
God.
and Maggie actually drove from Mayo to Limerick to do the search for the People's Choice winner that year. So we're absolutely eternally grateful to Maggie for the work she's done on the awards as well. And so
Fabulous.
for somebody who's sitting at home saying, well, I love candles, but I can never find one that's the right scent for me. What is the perfect scent for a candle?
I suppose how long is a piece of string? Um, there is many factors I suppose to consider with the scents. Mood, what kind of mood are you trying to create? You know, what time of year is it? Personal preference as well, etc. And it really all comes down to individual preference. You know, you could have somebody who smells a candle and absolutely loves it, and then someone else could smell it and hates it, you know. What I have found is lemongrass and ginger is quite a popular scent. That's really, really popular. And all my oils are essential oils as well. So you don't really get that headachy kind of overly powered that you would from a fragrance oil. That's really important to me as well. So yes, that would be quite a popular scent. But again, it depends, you know, a lot of people when they are ordering it, maybe a bespoke candle, they might have a particular scent in mind. You know, it could be for a wedding, it could be for a birthday, or it could be a particular time of the year, such as Christmas, you know. So I always have kind of a good range of scents there available for those kind of times of the year.
Yeah, well, again, and like I know a lot of people would have contention about burning a candle at bedtime, but like I'm a firm believer that if you actually light a lavender candle in the bedroom an hour before you're actually going up, it can bring such a relaxed environment to the space that in things like that, it's only from talking to people like you that you can learn these little bits and pieces of the difference it can make.
Yeah, absolutely. Lavender is fantastic for a nighttime. And I was thinking that about that as well, obviously, when I was making candles, about, you know, the safety aspect of it as well. So I suppose over time my range has developed, and I've also brought out a lavender pillow spray, which is really, really good for spraying on your pillow before you go to bed, for people that might have, you know, racing thoughts, insomnia. A lot of moms use it as well for kids if they're not sleeping properly. And I also brought out a aromatherapy roll-on, which is called Breathe, which is made from rose. So rose is very good for grounding your nervous system. And that will be rolled on to all the pulse points around the body. And again, that creates more of a grounding experience, just kind of, you know, calms your mind. If you're going on a flight, if you have like a driving test, something like that, you can roll it on quickly, take a deep breath in, and it settles the nerves so it does.
Right. Well, Maggie has just come back to ask where where can she actually buy your candles down around
So
Westport?
the So Westport, now we sell them here in Westport, and I also have them stocked in the Village Farm in Brickens and the Post Box Coffee Shop in Kelshima as well. So they're my Mayo stockers at the moment.
Brilliant. And we've another comment here. I completely agree with Melissa that meeting up kindred spirits at the awards night relieves that feeling of isolation. So, yeah, as I said, it's something that so many businesses do feel, and it's something that I like to think we help alleviate a little bit because the event is so laid back and that type of thing. But getting back to your business, I know you are a huge advocate for the importance of natural ingredients.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what do you see as, because the other problem, right, that when you are going down that route of you're saying, no, I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm going to use natural ingredients. In terms of costs to the business, that's driving the costs up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And like it must be very, very hard and very, very daunting as a business to say, do I look at reducing the quality of what I'm using to try and salvage a little bit of margin, or do I look at increasing my prices? Like all these decisions. But I think from what I can gather and from anything I've seen from what you produce, you are very much of the opinion that you will never actually sacrifice on that importance of the natural ingredients.
Yeah, very true. I that was always, I suppose, the forefront of my business motto when I started. And I suppose when I was doing my degree in marketing as well, we kind of learned that it's very easy to have a product, a premium product, and maybe reduce the cost over time if you felt that the price was too expensive. But it's very, very hard to have a product and raise the price. It's
Yes.
a completely different kettle of fish. And for me, having seen somebody suffer with cancer and ultimately pass away from it, and know that, all these endocrine disruptors and products can be very damaging to our health, it's really important that to save a few euro, you could be damaging your overall health. And you kind of have to weigh up, it might be cheaper now, but in the long run, it could actually cost you a lot more. So I did a reel there last year in October in Pennies. And I just went in randomly, picked up one of their candles because obviously they're having all their pumpkin spice ones now for autumn. And when I went through the ingredients, I found, like, which was extremely shocking, paint stripper in the candle was an ingredient in it, and it was the same paint stripper that they would use, obviously, in commercial settings, etc., but also to take the adhesive off the back of stamps in a stamp collection. And I was like, if it's able to strip that off a stamp, can you imagine what it's doing to your lungs inside? And these candles
Yeah.
are for things for €3 or €4. And you're like, how are they making a profit? And the reason they're making a profit is because using cheap ingredients, petroleum wax, which is basically made from petrol. That's why you get that black rim or the black jars that we've seen from other candles. Um, and you have to realize then if you're breathing that in over time, over a period length of time, the damage that it's doing. So I really was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use my essential oils because I have background experience in them. I know what I'm using. I know everything that goes into these candles because I make them myself. And people trust that, then they know. And I think people are waking up to the fact that, you have to use natural ingredients and products. People are getting reactions to things. They're getting sick from products. They're getting sick from, X, Y, and Z. And a lot of the time when people do come to me at, the Westport market, etc., they say, I bought this because I know what's in it and I trust you. And that means so much, that people trust me that I'm using good quality ingredients, that these are okay to burn and okay for your health. And that customer trust relationship is very, very important to me. So it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, one question that every guest that comes on the show is asked: for you, what is the perfect Lite Bite lunch? Because being on the go all the time and planning your workshops and doing all the bits and pieces you do, when you take time to say, right, I'm going to grab something quick, what do you like to grab for lunch?
I'm very basic when it comes to that. I would be a soup and a sambo girl, so I would. So you can't beat the funeral sandwiches, so you can't.
Yeah, listen, it's something that's an absolute savior at times, something quick and easy. The soup and sandwich goes down
Absolutely.
a charm.
Yeah,
So,
especially this weather.
oh, most definitely. And I just saw there a little while ago here in Leitrim, where we actually have a weather warning for rain. So
Oh,
just just to
lovely.
just to make for a good weekend.
Just in time.
That's it. Now I want to go back to your workshops because you do a fabulous range of workshops, and I know they're very sporadic when you do them, and that's purely because it keeps the excitement up there. Somebody deciding they're going to come along to your to have a look at one of your workshops, what are they in for?
So they're in for a lovely evening of relaxation, education, and a bit of fun as well. So in our my candle making workshops, we usually have a few glasses of prosecco, we have a few nibbly bits, whatever, and we basically sit around and make our candles with a scent that you choose yourself. So I'll guide you through the whole process of how we make candles. And the scents then are there for people to choose, what they're drawn to, etc. We make our own labels as well for it as well, so people get that creative aspect as well of making their own labels. And we generally do either a pillow spray or a room spray as well, so they make their own little room spray as well. And it's a really, really nice event, especially if you don't know a lot of people in the area. So I generally hold them out in the Canvey Community Centre. And there might be people from Westport, Lewisburg, Canvey, Merse, and they might know a lot of people in their area. They might be new, or they might not be in any kind of clubs or societies around the town. And it's kind of a little outlet for people that's not a pub, that's not a sport. And it's something, for them. So it is.
But and again, something that is so badly needed around rural Ireland
Oh,
is
so badly needed. Yeah.
having these outlets that aren't the pub, etc., to
Yeah.
go to. So, and I think it's absolutely wonderful idea. So, stepping away from the business for a minute, what do you like to do outside of work? Because we all know the importance of downtime, of mental health, and as small business owners, it doesn't matter if you decide, right, I'm taking a week off to go to the sun. You're still going to at least once a day be checking your emails or checking your socials or scheduling something to go out through the day, right? So, what do you like to do in your downtime?
So we're blessed obviously with a lot of beaches around here near Westport. So I do like to go to the beach and kind of ground myself, do a bit of sea dipping. I also have two Labradors, so they take up a lot of my time looking after them. And we go to a lot of shows as well with them as well. They enter a lot of shows with a lot of competitions. We do that as well. I'm also part of the Westport Book Club, so I attend that as well every month. That's a lovely, lovely event as well to kind of meet people, and we choose a different book every month. And I also like to travel a lot. I do a lot of travel. I was in Singapore this year, Dubai, Thailand, Malaysia, New York, and love traveling, seeing new places, doing a bit of photography as well with that. And yeah, that keeps me busy along with the business.
Well, I was just going to say, and based on that, what do you actually do in your spare time?
Not much.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, among the various bits and pieces you do, you have actually curated very special pieces for occasions and that type of thing. Do you want to
Yeah.
tell it? Is there any of them you can tell us about that you're not sworn to
Yes,
secrecy on? Or?
absolutely. Not yet. There's a few in the pipeline now that I can't speak about, but there has been a few that I have worked on previously. So there was a very exciting one that I worked on last year with an American Irish author called Thomas Purdy. And I actually met up with Tom there when I was in New York in May, which was so lovely. So Tom basically got in touch. He was speaking at the Students Astrologia in Swinford. He is part of the Mayo genealogy group. And Tom was given a presentation about his Irish roots and ancestors, etc. And he wanted to create a candle that had a really particular scent. So we worked on it for a couple of months. And we basically came up with a scent that was similar to turf, so it had a very earthy undertone. And we designed the label then as well for the alumni group, which was lovely. And had all the Irish flag colours on it, etc. And that was a really, really cool project to work on. So I think we made about 50. And Tom then handed them out after his presentation down the Student Astrologia. So that was lovely to see then as well in the local papers that covered it as well, and talking about the Mayo genealogy group as well and what it means to the people that attended the presentation. But also as well for Tom over in Wisconsin to find me here in Little Westport was really cool. And it was a really nice creative project to work on where I got a lot of free reign as well to kind of come up with these cool scents. And yeah, it was really, really cool. So it was.
Brilliant, brilliant. And what does your business need right now? To the people who are watching this, right, who are like, well, I personally don't burn a lot of candles or that type of thing. What can people do to help your business?
I think visiting my social media, liking it, sharing maybe my page, sharing a few products, commenting. It's very hard, I feel, on social media to grow business these days with the algorithm and stuff like that. And obviously, the more people that are commenting like it, the more your stuff is going to be seen. That's how the algorithm works. So that's free. It doesn't cost
Yeah,
people anything to like, share, whatever. If they're not into buying candles or, mightn't be in their budget right now, even just liking and sharing my page is such a massive boost to my business and potentially could open me up to other customers and other clients as well.
yeah, no, absolutely agree with you. It's so important that we all support each other, and as you said, it's something that costs absolutely nothing, and you never know who in your own network it could actually help by seeing
Yeah,
this.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm just anxious that the time is starting to run away from us. What's next for you and for the business?
I suppose we're getting into silly season, aren't we? I don't want to say the C word just yet, but we are.
Oh, you
So
mean the
I
Halloween? You mean the Halloween collection?
I wish. So yeah, the Christmas collection is well underway at the moment. I have a few curated pieces coming up as well. We've a lot of weddings coming up at the end of this year, so there's a lot of brides booking in for their candles and for wedding favors. And I also have a few workshops as well in the pipeline for around the Christmas season as well, and of course the awards as well next month, which is very, very exciting. So yeah, it's going to be a busy few months, so it is.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I'm going to leave it there with you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know your schedule is so heavy because you've so many orders and whatnot in. And something that I had never actually considered that you mentioned to me there just before we came on air is actually people who are now ordering candles specific to an actual wedding as personalized favors, which I think is a wonderful idea. And again, it's supporting small local businesses, which is also important to us. But if anyone wants to know more about what you're doing or about the workshops or that type of thing, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you?
So social media, Instagram or Facebook line handles, you can contact me there, DM me, and all my products are up there as well. So if people want to have a little look through as well, they can as well.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. We will have another guest on to talk about all things micro business, and hopefully you'll be able to join us as well at that stage. We look forward to seeing you then. Good afternoon.